All right, we're going. The inaugural show, the inaugural Absolute LEE show, taken out on her maiden voyage. That is crazy. That's what we're doing right now. I'm trying to start my own podcast, and it is quite the venture to take on, staring down the barrel of trying to talk to you by myself for upwards of half an hour, maybe even 35 to 36 minutes. It does. It feels a little masturbatory, but isn't that the career choice that I've chosen anyway? Uh, if you're watching this, I assume that you know who I am. If you are just taking a shot and you've never heard of me or know what I do and you're just watching this on YouTube or listening to this on Spotify or whatever, then you're an odd bird, and I appreciate your faith in humans. But I do assume that you guys know me. But my name is Lee Kimbrell. I am a stand-up comedian and friend and lover and fiance and son and brother. I've done a lot of jobs, and now I'm trying to be a podcaster. Maybe you know me from the Boy Storm podcast. Maybe you're following over there from following here from there. Maybe you know me from Lexington or Cincinnati. Maybe the Theo tour. That would be pretty cool. But either way, if you're here and you're watching, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. This is the Absolute LEE show, and here we are. I know that it's kind of drab at the moment. It looks good, sounds good. I know it's just a black curtain. It looks like Wednesday Addams podcast. But hey, man, if we keep on doing this, who knows? Maybe we could even get a little neon sign or something. But I'm just here to, I don't know, further the career, baby. Clips are currency, and I'm just trying to get it out there, dude. Yeah, I that's about the tale, man. I've been down here in Nashville. This is shot in Nashville, Tennessee. Me and my lady moved down here like 3.5 months ago. So that's a whole different thing. Moving is insane, and moving with your fiance is a whole different beast. So we're down here. We're living in a little cottage, and we're just trying to make it work. And that includes starting a podcast where I just try to rattle on for a half hour. And it's a delightful little thing, man. Is it nerve-wracking? Certainly it is. Is it embarrassing? A little bit. But do I think that I can do it? Kind of. But, dude, we're here. We're here. I signed up, man. I'm pot committed into this career, dude. What are you going to do, baby? That's the game, man. And now I got a little stake in the game, dude. Trying to start a family. And I can't be a fuck up. So now I'm just sitting here. I said the F word already, dude. 3 minutes in. That's a bummer. Might try to keep it clean. I don't know. I want you to be able to show this to your grandma. Maybe you got a cool grandma. I did. Rest in peace. But that's what we're doing here, man. I don't know. I could talk to you about my week. I'm just going to tell you little stories from the road, this, that, and the other. But that's what we're doing here. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. We're all gearing up for Christmas and all that good stuff. 'Tis the season. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of them, man. I hope you have a good one. I ruined Thanksgiving. Yeah, ruined it. Really bombed on Thanksgiving, man. Still feeling the repercussions. I lost my wallet. I lost my wallet the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I went out on the blackout night, the busiest bar night of the season, and got blacked out drunk and I lost my wallet. Nay, not the case. I was very responsible. I was back up in Cincinnati at my home club, Go Bananas Comedy Club up there. Much love to them. And did a spot. I was home at 10 o'clock. I had 3 beers. I wasn't drunk. I went out. I bought myself some gumbo. I drove back. My girl was asleep on the couch. And somewhere in that intermediate period, I lost my wallet. It must have just fallen out of my pocket, or the universe ate it. The great unburdened, unfeeling universe just consumed my wallet. Which would have been a pain in the ass. Losing your wallet completely hamstrings you. It's insane. You got to get a new driver's license, and for whatever reason, you go down to the DMV. You can't just get a new license. They give you a piece of printer paper that you then fold up, that then tears. No one accepts it. You can't get anything with it. And if you get pulled over and you show a cop a piece of printer paper, you're already in trouble. You know? You get the replacement debit card. It doesn't even work. It doesn't have a chip. So I lost my wallet, and I've basically been a pilgrim for about 10 days. But the reason why I ruined Thanksgiving, if I had lost my wallet, you know, losing a material thing on Thanksgiving, on a holiday where you're supposed to not worry about the material and just and love your family and the intangible things that you're thankful for in your life, losing a wallet on that day is not a big deal. But losing a wallet on Thanksgiving, when the day after Thanksgiving you have to get on an airplane and fly somewhere without an ID, that is a bit of a problem. And I had really painted myself into a pickle, if you will. I had lost my wallet, and it was Thanksgiving Day, and I was in Cincinnati, Ohio. And my only other form of identification was in Nashville, Tennessee. So at 11:30 on Thanksgiving Day, I had to drive down to Nashville. But I was saved. I did. There was a Thanksgiving miracle. Shout out to my cousin Cole. He went to my house, broke into my house, climbed in through a window, got my passport, and then met me in Bowling Green. So I drove from Cincinnati to Bowling Green, back to Cincinnati, got a little bit of Thanksgiving in with my fiance's family, and I loved them, but it didn't really matter because my fiance was so mad at me that it didn't really matter. It was a good time, but she was furious. As I was furious too. It was a bad day. And then I drove from Cincinnati to Lexington. Got there at about 9:30. Hung out with my mom and dad and brother for an hour or so, couple hours. And then I was on a flight at 5 o'clock that morning with my passport and not my driver's license because I had lost my wallet. So on Thanksgiving Day, instead of just kind of cuddling up with my sweetheart and her family and then getting to spend time with my family, I drove 8.5 hours by myself, furious, so mad at myself. And then got on a plane, and I mean, good problems to have. It was fixed, but it was very embarrassing. Very embarrassing, man. You feel like such an idiot. You lose your wallet. It affects other people. I don't know. No need to beat myself up about it. I got a new wallet. My birthday is in a week, so my wife got me a wallet with a little AirPod key in it or whatever. And so that's good. Kind of a passive-aggressive gift. She gave it to me last night and was like, why don't we go ahead and put this into use so you don't ruin Christmas. But no, we're good. We're back. I got my debit card. Everything's back in the mail. We're chilling, baby. We're chilling. And I don't know. I got lucky with her anyway, man. She's a good one. I am engaged. I keep saying my fiance, which is pretty sick. Maybe she'll come on the pod one day. I don't know. But she's dope as hell. We met. This is a good little thing. Origin story, right? Okay. It's funny. I announced that I got engaged on Instagram and lost 55 followers. Sorry, ladies and dudes. Mostly dudes, for sure. Definitely mostly men after comedy shows. But hey, what are you going to do? We were friends. We were buddies for like years and years. She was an open micer. Actually was very, very funny, but just, got out the game. Because women are smarter than men and aren't willing to gamble a decade of their life on a hard maybe. So, yeah, we were just buddies for a long time, never single at the same time, and then just became romantic. A tale as old as time. We just bellied up to a bar with each other at the same, coaxing each other through some hardships, and 4 or 5 green tea shots later, we kind of were giggling and looked at each other, and I go, are we drunk enough to kiss? And we were. And then two years later, here we are, baby, engaged to be wed. It's pretty sick. Asked her. On the way to asking her, this is a funny story. So I'm like spaced out. I'm not even paying attention to what's going on, you know? Not I'm just driving. I'm 5 minutes away from asking this woman to marry me. And I'm spaced out. I'm not even barely looking at the road. And then I hear her start going, "Oh, no, no. Oh my God, no." And then that like locks me back into reality. And loping across the interstate in front of us was a groundhog. Like a huge, like Pixar sized groundhog. He looked like a little cartoon character. And right when I noticed him, I just saw him get eviscerated by a Ford Fiesta. Just crushed, dude. Pink, a fine pink mist, right? And she starts crying. She's such a sweet lady. She's like sobbing. She's like, "Oh my God, that was brutal. He was probably going to his ground puppies or whatever." And I was so spazzed out and so in the moment that I was getting like cockblocked really hard by this little woodland creature. Because she's like crying. She doesn't know she's about to get proposed to, but her day has been completely ruined by seeing a groundhog explode on Ronald Reagan Highway. So I just panic, and in a moment to try to save the moment, I just go, "Don't worry, baby, that groundhog was a rapist." And really broke the tension. She didn't so much as laugh, but kind of like stop crying and look at me and be like, "What?" And I was like, "No, that groundhog was a really, really bad guy. You know, I'm glad that he got hit by a car." And then she kind of giggled. And then 5 minutes after that, literally, I was like crying, asking her to marry me. So that's the dichotomy of man. Ain't that the dichotomy of man? Both of that chilling. Yeah, dude. Just cruising through, trying to get the career, man. You do a little bit of everything. I mentioned the Theo Vaughn thing earlier. That was a wild thing that happened to me. If you are listening to this, I'll tell you this. Here's why I'm doing the freaking solo podcast. It's because I met so many people after the Theo podcast who was like, "When are you going to start your podcast?" Or not the Theo podcast, but after these shows, he was like, "When are you going to start your show?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't have one." And they were like, "Oh, okay. See you never again, probably." You know? So here we are. I'm just trying to talk to you. You know, it feels, in this business, you try to fight through the futility. You know, I've had a bunch of really good things happen for me, but it's like when you're staring down the barrel of trying to make this into a career, you don't really know what to do, you know? So I'm just throwing it out here, you know, having all these conversations with comedians all the time about what do you do, and do you just pick a side politically and lean into that really hard, or do you do a character online, or what do you do? You're just trying to find your niche. And I don't know, not to feel complacent or lazy or anything, but all I can do is just try to talk enough shit that I have a small little community of people that want to ride, you know? If I can get 1,000 people to like me enough that they give me $100 a year, that's 100 grand. Guess what? I'm rich. That's all I need. I mean, sure, I would love to fill up a theater. That would be awesome. But right now, I'm just trying to fill up the damn lab, you know? And if that just means starting off here by talking, and dude, it's going to be a process. The idea that I'm going to be able to press play and just have a ripper of a really good solo podcast is highly unlikely, you know? But I'm going to talk about my family. I'm going to talk about my fiance. I'm going to talk about comedy. I'll probably end up talking about golf. I mean, shit, dude. I don't know. Here's for the algorithm. What about this Luigi guy, huh? Sounds like a Luigi Mangione. That's insane. That sounds like an underling from that sounds like a damn that's a menu item at an Olive Garden in Sarasota. A Luigi Mangione. Luigi Mangione. I grew up with a bunch of Mangiones. I was actually sitting on the couch with my mom when that news broke, and there was a Mangione. He said his name was Luigi Mangione, and she goes, "Ah, the first guy I kissed was named Mangione." It's like, no shit. Yeah, Mark Mangione. Kissed my mom first, dude. True story. And I don't know, maybe they're related, but that's not good. There's my fucking hot take on that. I don't know. I mentioned it before on the other podcast that I did today, but I don't know. The hot take is that it's not good. Shooting people in cold blood on the street, probably not great. But I don't know. We're so desensitized to it now that it'll be in the news cycle for 4 days and then it's gone. You know, it's nothing weird that we caught this guy and then in 12 hours I had his valedictorian speech on high school. But then the Crooks dude, we don't even know like where he went to middle school or anything. That's a little screwy, but hey. I'm not here to ruffle feathers on YouTube, baby. I want a damn Casper mattress sponsorship or something. I'll say whatever you need me to say. Luigi Mangione was great. Luigi Mangione was bad. Cut that and then send it to whoever you want to. That's what I think. But I don't know, man. If you really want to help America out, then I don't know, bring the Costco family to court. Absolutely no violence. Violence isn't good, but we should bring the Costco dad to court and see what's going on with him for real. Because it probably is just some guy who's making it. That's what's really brutal about this business is that they figured it out. Big Justice and little AJ, man, are the other way around. Big Justice and big AJ. They figured it out. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is just the musings of a complete psychopath who will just work the road forever. I don't really know, man, but I'm happy to be here. I know that it will continue to get better, How did I don't know. I used to be a teacher, and that's when I was rich. That gives you any idea of who I am as a person financially now, Used to be a teacher, did that for a little while. I worked in construction. I was a babysitter. I've been a manny. Damn, dude. Maybe that's what I'll end up doing. There is a real market for a male babysitter. I hopefully don't have a large listener base of young, like teenage boys. That would be a little weird. But if I do, and if you're listening to this, become a babysitter, man. It's a good gig, dude, and you're at a premium. I was a good one, man. You get to go over and you just play the kid in ping pong, roughhouse with him, beat him. It's good. One time it was bad. I was babysitting this kid, and I clogged up their toilet. And then this is how long ago it was. The home phone rang, so I ran and I picked it up. Mom and Dad were coming early because it was snowing, and I had clogged up their toilet. Kids was asleep. I was supposed to have another 3 hours. They were going to be home in 15 minutes. So I went to their bathroom, or I went to their kitchen, underneath their sink, found a big pair of rubber gloves, and then for like 3 or 4 trips, just picked it up out of the toilet, walked through their living room, and threw it into their backyard. Threw it in. They didn't even have a dog. So when the snow melted, they were like, where did this come from? And it did. I mean, it was human poop, the worst thing. Not to just go straight to a poop story in the first episode ever. But I started talking about babysitting, and it did kind of jog my memory, man. Dude, I had a male babysitter when I was a kid because me and my brother just disintegrated babysitters. My little brother, shout out Steven, he is the man. We went through a lot of babysitters. We had this one lady named Kristen. We destroyed her. We would my mom used to be like big into arts and crafts. So she had all this powdered paint in the garage, and me and my brother went out, got a bag of bright pink powdered paint, and we're just throwing it back and forth across the living room. And it hit the ceiling fan, showered the entire room in pink paint. I mean, sunk our family financially. We were not in a spot where we could just like get a new couch and get new carpet in the living. Like, it was a monumental screw up. It was a big deal. Like, they could have sued this babysitter for negligence. Yeah, of course they couldn't, but it was bad. So we ended up getting like this hardcore babysitter. And I'll never forget this dude. His name was Kyle, and he had a vertebrae tattoo up his vertebrae. And I know how you're thinking, why did you see your male babysitter without his shirt off? And it's because when he walked in, he took his shirt off to show us his tattoo to, I guess, like assert dominance or something. And it worked because it scared the shit out of us, and we never messed with Kyle. He was kind of a scary dude, and looking back on it, it's insane that my parents employed him to do that. But hey, what are you going to do, man? Take a nice sip of the throat coat. The horniest named tea of all time. The throat coat. I do get what it does. And it did just kind of help my dulcet tone a little bit. But, yeah, dude. Just rambling. We're going to come back and I'll have guests potentially. Maybe I'll even come through with, who knows, shocker, a damn outline. Maybe one of those, but I'm not going to lie. When we pressed play and then the lights came on, I did get pretty nervous. I did get pretty nervous. But now we're here and we're doing it. I got to do a theater in Birmingham, Alabama last week for a woman named Danae Hayes. Shout out Danae. She ripped it. And it was very unique because it was about 2,000 Alabama lesbians. A pretty interesting demographic. Pretty interesting. I mean, hooting and hollering, I really got them going, but I'm not going to lie. When I first walked out there, and they didn't like what they saw. I kind of know what I do look like right off the rip, white guy, mustache, bald. In a lot of people's mind's eye, I do just kind of look like the problem. But it was very fun. They couldn't have been more gracious. I walked out. I said, never cheated on my fiance, never will. But every time I leave for the road, she's like, hey, don't mess this up. You better stay loyal, And then I go, honey, I'm going to go do a theater of every lesbian in Alabama. They don't want to bang me. And, dude, just lit it up. So shout out to Birmingham, Alabama lesbians, man. You guys are a killer demographic of people. The parking lot of that place looked like a Subaru dealership. It was insane. Yeah, everyone out there had a goatee. Even the ladies. It was pretty impressive. And that's the sickest part about the road. Sickest part about comedy is just getting to see the entire United States of America if you're lucky. I mean, this year I've been to Maine, and I've been to Idaho, and I've been to just about everywhere in between, dude. And that's doing the Theo shows. That's doing my own shows. The only difference is, whether or not I make money doing them or not. But it's pretty fucking sweet, man. I don't know. It's a cool country. You go around, you just meet all these. I met this dude in Roanoke, Virginia called Tiny. His legal name was Tiny. He showed me his driver's license. Tiny. And guess what? Not tiny. Gigantic man. He had 2 big old pit bulls. He just worked at the venue and he brought his dogs. And they were scary. They shouldn't have been there. He was there. Just met a lot of people out there. And maybe some of them are listening to this podcast right now. And if you are, then, much appreciate that, my boy. Thank you very much. I drove down to Little Rock, Arkansas a couple weeks ago. Little Rock, shout out Arkansas, the old loony bin down there. And was talking to a staff member down there who was telling me this story about at the club a couple weeks ago. They had a comedian there who, a black guy, and his, the whole audience was 90% black. And he was up there and he said the N-word, and then he apologized. He goes, sorry, because I don't know. It's not my thought. It's not my battle, but apparently older black people typically don't like the use of the N-word, okay? So this black guy says the N-word, then goes, hey, my bad, sorry to the old heads. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I just like saying it, right? I like saying the N-word, okay? So then from the back of the room, a white lady stands up and says, I like saying the N-word too, except she didn't say the N-word. She said it. And then, yeah, about 150 people down in Little Rock almost beat the shit out of a woman. And a black server by the way. What an angel. Could have just left her to the slaughter, grabbed her, and like hit her, snuck her out of the back, and was like, "Hey, I don't think that you were being super hateful, but you are about to get your ass beat, so we gotta get you out of here." And I don't know, that kind of shit just happens all the time at comedy clubs, dude. It Comedy clubs, any venue, it's gonna be insane. I was doing one of these Theo shows and I looked in the front row and there was just a baby breastfeeding. It's just a baby breastfeeding. People are out there, man. It's a wild little ride to go out and just be in the general public and witness it. I was at the gas station right next door to this club a couple weeks ago, and there was a dude standing in front of me with a snake, and I think the snake was asleep. It wasn't moving at all. It might have been a dead snake. I don't know. Maybe it was a scarf, but it was there. You just witness them all the time. My mom's one of them. My dad's one of them. Shout out pops. God, telling him I lost my wallet that was hard. That was hard. Cause you just question. I question, especially now. I and if you're still listening to this, then you probably agree. But like, man, I think I might be dumb. I think I might not be that smart. I definitely got something, but like the charming whatever maybe. Smart, probably not, man. Probably not. Like, I'm so deeply addicted to just kind of like looking at my phone. Just like I'll catch myself in a doom scroll a couple times a day. Just like actually mouth open. Like, searching for nothing, finding less, just going through. And then it's like, here's how I know I'm not a very smart guy. It's because a couple nights ago, I like got disgusted with myself looking at my phone. I threw my phone down. Okay. Then I put on a movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, and didn't look at my phone the entire time. And like, as I was watching this movie, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, I was patting myself on the back for being like an intellectual for not looking at my phone. Weaning myself off of tiny screen with big screen. Watching the movie Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, thinking of myself as being smart and good. Truly an insane move. But hey, I mean, I try to be. I don't, okay, here's the thing. I don't think that I am, which is good, right? If I was a dumb person like I am and fancied myself a really smart person, then that would be scary. I think that that's like what every problem in the world is caused by. It's just by like a not very smart person thinking that they're really smart and then having that belief in themselves bolster them forward in their life, I don't know. Like even that's my point. What I just said was stupid. It just doesn't track. But I don't know. Maybe there's something somewhere. Okay, here's why I'm not very smart. I brought a hornet's nest to show and tell in third grade. And then it came alive and filled the room with hornets. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know. That's my legacy at Southern Elementary School, man. The kid who filled the room with fucking bees. It's crazy. But, I mean, we're here. I'm smart enough to join forces with my sweet boy Aiden. You'll probably get to know him on some level throughout this journey that we're going on. Aiden's the man behind the camera. Aiden's the man thinking to himself, good Lord, this is going to be quite the road to hoe. But it is, and we're doing it, man. It's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be fun. Thumbs up to that, dude. Going to roll it out. Just got to roll it out. I'm filling up my year in 2025, just looking to do the road. I don't know. Me and my lady have pulled the goalie, We're thinking maybe baby time, maybe going for it. I'm scared about that, I'm looking it up. I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe this is, bad reasoning. You hear the classic thing of like a struggling marriage or whatever, and they try to save it with a baby. That's not what me and my lady on. We're like deeply in love and going for it. But my logic on a baby is that I've always kind of been better with my back against the wall a little bit. You know, like I'm a bit of a, I was a huge procrastinator in school and everything, and bit of a procrastinator in life. But if I had a little baby, then I would know for sure that it is time that you cannot fuck around anymore. You know, it's like not having a kid like certainly doesn't simplify things, but it kind of simplifies the mission. You know, it kind of locks you into what you're trying to do. So who knows, man? Maybe we're gonna do that. Dude, I've been researching, because I don't want to mess it up. So I've known to partake in the devil's lettuce a little bit in my life, and I've always heard that it lowers your sperm count. So I Googled that. I'm like, I should stop doing that, right? And I Googled it, and this is kind of just a funny little science fact. It doesn't lower your sperm count, but it makes your sperm swim a little slower, which is just hilarious. It makes your sperm high, and then your sperm is lazy and is like, "Oh, everyone says we should go to the egg, but what if we just like hung out here and in the tubes?" You know, that made me laugh. That made me laugh. I think I'm gonna try that one on stage. Just a big dumb act out of high sperm. That's the highbrow stuff that you can expect here at the Absolute Lee Show. And yeah, man, I'm excited for it. This one, we sludged through it. It is going to be the first one, but hey, you know what we do here? We shoot 35 minutes to hopefully get a good 30 seconds. Okay? And we definitely did do that. I'm excited to do this, man. If you're watching still, I appreciate it. You don't need to be told where to follow me because you've already followed me here, and I consider myself lucky. So let's just keep on plugging along. I will see you next time, episode 2 of the Absolute Lee Show. See you later.